What if I told you that one Mediterranean island holds the key to understanding 10,000 years of human civilization? That this single landmass has witnessed the birth of Christianity, the fall of empires, and remains divided to this very day? Welcome to Cyprus, where legends were born, empires clashed, and history changed forever. By the end of this video, you'll discover why this island became the crossroads of 3 continents, how it shaped the destiny of nations, and why its story isn't over yet. But first, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why the word copper sounds so familiar when you hear Cyprus? Here's the shocking truth. This island literally gave its name to the metal that built civilizations. But that's just the beginning of our story. Picture this. 12,000 years ago, brave souls crossed treacherous waters to reach an uninhabited island. What they found would change history forever. The Kirakisha culture wasn't just building houses, they were creating something revolutionary. These weren't primitive huts, but sophisticated stone structures that archaeologists today call architectural marvels. But here's what will blow your mind. They were doing this 9,000 years ago, before Stonehenge, before the pyramids. And then something extraordinary happened around 3000 BCE. The Bronze Age didn't just arrive in Cyprus, it exploded. The island's copper deposits were so abundant that traders from across the known world risked everything to reach these shores. The Greek word kapros, meaning copper, would eventually give the island its name and the entire metal its identity. But wait, there's more. Everything changed when the Mycenaean Greeks arrived. This wasn't just migration. This was cultural transformation on an epic scale. The late Bronze Age brought legendary city kingdoms, Salamis, Paphos, Kishan, Carian. These weren't just cities. They were independent powerhouses that would dominate politics for over a millennium. Each kingdom had its own army, its own gods, its own destiny. Then came 1200 BCE, the year that changed everything. When the Bronze Age collapsed, most civilizations crumbled. But Cyprus? Cyprus did something incredible. 9 city kingdoms emerged from the ashes, each more powerful than before. Salamis, Paphos, Kishan, Carian, Amathus, Lapithus, Seloi, Tamasos, and Marion. These weren't just cities, they were independent nations on a single island. But here's where the story gets interesting. In 709 BCE, the Assyrians conquered Cyprus. Then the Egyptians. Then the Persians. Empire after empire tried to control this strategic island, but the city kingdoms survived them all. And then came a man who would attempt something impossible. Meet Evagrius I of Salamis, a king who dared to dream of uniting all Cyprus under one crown. From 411 to 374 BCE, he waged war against the mighty Persian Empire, allied with Athens, and came closer to achieving Cypriot unity than anyone before or since. His story ends in tragedy, but his legacy? That's eternal. But even Evagrius couldn't have predicted what came next. 333 BCE. Alexander the Great's conquest brought Cyprus into a new world, the Hellenistic age. After Alexander's death, the Ptolemies of Egypt took control and did something revolutionary. They abolished the ancient city kingdoms, ending over 700 years of independent rule. Then Rome arrived in 58 BCE, and with it came a faith that would change everything. 45 CE. 2 men stepped onto Cypriot shores carrying a message that would transform the world. The apostles Paul and Barnabas didn't just bring Christianity to Cyprus, they converted the Roman governor himself, making Cyprus one of the first Christian-governed territories in history. This wasn't just religious conversion, this was the birth of Christian political power. When Rome split, Cyprus chose its side, the Byzantine Empire. For over 800 years, this island would be the Eastern Mediterranean's most crucial naval base. But then came 649 CE, and everything changed again. Picture this: Arab armies under Muawiyah conquer Cyprus. Instead of replacing Byzantine rule, something unprecedented happens. Cyprus becomes the world's first condominium, paying tribute to both the Arab Caliphate and the Byzantine Empire simultaneously. For over 300 years, this impossible arrangement worked, creating a unique period of cultural exchange that existed nowhere else on Earth. But all golden ages must end. 965 CE, Byzantine Emperor Nicephorus Phocas reconquered the island, ending the most unusual political arrangement in medieval history. 1191, the Third Crusade brought a legend to Cyprus, Richard the Lionheart. In a campaign lasting just weeks, Richard conquered the entire island, overthrowing the Byzantine tyrant Isaac Komnenos. But Richard had bigger fish to fry. What happened next sounds like fiction, but is historical fact. Richard the Lionheart sold an entire kingdom, first to the Knights Templar, then to Guy de Lusignan, the former king of Jerusalem. The Lusignan dynasty would rule Cyprus for 300 years, transforming it into the most cosmopolitan kingdom in the Mediterranean. Under Hugh IV and Peter I, Cyprus controlled territories from Anatolia to the Levant. Nicosia became a city where Latin Crusaders, Greek Orthodox Christians, and Arab merchants conducted business in multiple languages. The Gothic cathedrals of Nicosia and Famagusta, architectural marvels that still take your breath away today, rose during this golden age. But then disaster struck. 1373, Genoa, Cyprus's supposed ally, invaded and devastated the kingdom. The siege was brutal, the tribute crushing, and the Lusignan dynasty never recovered. This betrayal set the stage for what came next. Venice acquired Cyprus through marriage. Caterina Cornaro, the last Lusignan queen, voluntarily ceded her kingdom to the Venetian Republic. The Venetians had one obsession: fortification. They transformed Cyprus into a military fortress with walls so impressive they're UNESCO World Heritage Sites today. But would it be enough? 1570. The Ottoman Empire launched its assault. Nicosia fell quickly, but then came Famagusta. For 11 months, Marcantonio Bragadin and his garrison held out against impossible odds. The siege of Famagusta became one of history's most heroic last stands. When Famagusta finally fell in August 1571, Bragadin was brutally executed, but his courage echoed across Europe. The age of Western Christian rule in Cyprus was over. The Ottomans brought something revolutionary to Cyprus: the millet system. Religious communities governed themselves, and remarkably, the Orthodox Church gained more power under Muslim rule than it had under Catholic Venice. The Ottomans also brought new people, Turkish settlers from Anatolia who would become the Turkish Cypriot community. For the first time in centuries, Cyprus truly became bicommunal. But the 19th century brought dangerous new ideas. 1821. The Greek War of Independence inspired Cyprus's Greek population. The Ottoman response was swift and brutal. Archbishop Kyprianos and hundreds of Orthodox leaders were executed in a single day. This massacre planted seeds of nationalism that would grow for over a century. The Congress of Berlin, 1878. Britain acquired Cyprus without firing a shot. Part of the great game between empires, British rule modernized Cyprus but also deepened communal divisions. Greek Cypriots dreamed of Enosis union with Greece. Turkish Cypriots feared absorption and preferred British protection. After World War II, these dreams became demands, and demands became violence. 1955. EOKA began its armed campaign for Enosis. Led by Georgios Grivas and blessed by Archbishop Makarios III, Greek Cypriot fighters launched a guerrilla war that would define a generation. The Turkish Cypriot response was TMT, the Turkish Resistance Organization, advocating partition, not union. Cyprus was heading toward a collision that would tear the island apart. 1960. The London-Zurich agreements created an independent Cyprus with an incredibly complex constitution. Archbishop Makarios became president, Dr. Fazıl Kukuk became vice president. It lasted 3 years. 1963. Constitutional crisis erupted. By Christmas, intercommunal violence had shattered the power-sharing government. Turkish Cypriots withdrew from government institutions they would not return to for decades. 1974. The year that changed everything forever. A Greek junta-backed coup aimed to assassinate Makarios and unite Cyprus with Greece. Turkey's response was swift, military intervention that split the island in two. In 5 days, 200,000 people became refugees in their own country. Families were separated, communities destroyed, and Cyprus was divided by a line that remains to this day. Today, Cyprus remains divided. The Republic of Cyprus in the south joined the EU and adopted the euro. Northern Cyprus, recognized only by Turkey, remains isolated. Multiple peace plans have failed. The Annan Plan of 2004 came closest to reunification but was rejected by Greek Cypriots. But here's what makes this story incredible. Despite 50 years of division, both communities maintain their hope for reunification. New generations are finding ways to connect across the divide. The discovery of natural gas in Cypriot waters has created new opportunities and new tensions. Regional powers circle like sharks, but Cypriots on both sides increasingly want peace. Yet Cyprus's influence extends far beyond its shores. This small island nation has produced Nobel Prize winners, world-renowned artists, and innovative entrepreneurs who shaped global culture. The Cypriot diaspora, scattered across continents by centuries of upheaval, has carried the island's entrepreneurial spirit and cultural richness to every corner of the earth. From London's financial district to Melbourne's Greek quarters, from New York's business centers to Toronto's multicultural neighborhoods, Cypriot communities have thrived while maintaining deep connections to their ancestral homeland. The island's strategic location continues to make it a crucial player in regional geopolitics. Cyprus serves as a bridge between Europe, Asia, and Africa, hosting international peacekeeping missions, facilitating diplomatic initiatives, and providing humanitarian aid to crisis zones across the Middle East. Its universities attract students from dozens of countries. Its shipping industry ranks among the world's largest. And its emerging tech sector is positioning the island as a digital innovation hub for the Eastern Mediterranean. Cyprus's story began 10,000 years ago, with brave souls crossing dangerous waters to reach an unknown island. Today, their descendants face perhaps their greatest challenge yet, choosing between the divisions of the past and the possibilities of the future. This island gave copper to the world, Christianity to the Roman Empire, and lessons in both cooperation and conflict to humanity. The story of Cyprus isn't over. It's still being written. What happens next depends on choices yet to be made, by people not yet born, in a future we can only imagine. But one thing is certain, Cyprus will continue to surprise us, just as it has for 10,000 years. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through time. If this story moved you, inspired you, or taught you something new, let me know in the comments. And remember, history isn't just about the past, it's about understanding our present and shaping our future. The island that gave its name to copper, its heart to Christianity, and its soul to the cause of unity, Cyprus eternal.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more engaging historical content.